Tick-tock, the clock is ticking for Windows XP. Microsoft is cutting support on the operating system on April 8, 2014. That means no more patches, no more software versions, no more drivers for new peripherals. But some businesses are stubborn. They see no reason to move from the reliable operating system that was released way back in 2001. That's what we heard in response to a recent article by Howard Solomon, The End of Windows XP. Some still haven't got the message. To address some of these comments and to get to the truth about migrating away from Windows XP, we're joined by a special guest. Steve Heck is the CIO of Microsoft Canada, and he's here today to do some myth busting. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
My pleasure.
We've got some members of our editorial staff to read some of the comments from the article. Steve is going to provide some answers.
I'm Howard Solomon, editor of IT World Canada, and I wrote the article. One of our readers, who uses the name Vinegar, wrote, "Some organizations simply may not be able to afford to move off XP based only on the implied threats associated with the end of XP support." He argues that even if your current PC is suitable to run Windows 7 or 8, there's no migration path from XP to anything other than Vista. So he concludes, every box has to be rebuilt from scratch. He makes the point that many applications may require expensive upgrades to work in Windows 8 or not work at all, not to mention incompatible peripherals. Small businesses on tight budgets are likely to take the approach that if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Upgrades in the past have been a challenge, and I have to give credit to our software engineers in the effort that they've put into solutions to help with the upgrade to software. And actually, the way that internally we upgrade our software is the same thing that's available to consumers and small businesses, and primarily the Windows Easy Transfer aspect of the software. So when we do all our upgrades, whether it was from XP to Windows 7 or Windows 7 to Windows 8, we leverage the Windows Easy Transfer, which is a simple backup and restore, but it keeps all of your settings and all of your file structure all in the same place. And really, it's a few clicks through a wizard kind of environment, and it's something that actually we asked our employees to take care of on their own. And so it's not really on anything different than what you would hope small business owners backing up their PCs now, right? Because they should be doing that anyway, and it would be no different than backing it up and then restoring it onto a brand new PC with a Windows 7 or Windows 8 operating system on it. And really, it's that easy. So the same technology that large enterprises would be using to facilitate the transfer of information and the upgrade is what's available to small businesses and the average general consumer, and the experience is designed for them, right? It's not designed for a experienced IT professional that needs a whole lot of information. So I'm confident that if and really any of the customers can go to the Microsoft website, get the tools, or understand how to use them better, and really it shouldn't be a painful experience.
Here's a comment from K. O'Connor 100. He says, if hackers find an exploit, it's because your firewall sucks. The operating system has no business even trying to be a firewall, a virus scanner, and 15 other things rolled into one.
There's definitely a place for firewalls, and there's a place for having security built into the operating system. And I think what I think we need to keep in mind is, especially for small businesses and individuals, they don't have the skills or the expertise or the interest in setting up or maintaining a firewall. And so if you put all that accountability on them, they just won't have the ability to keep their computer equipment secure. So by building some of that into the operating system, it at least gives every user the ability to keep their data secure, keep it updated, and allow the software to take a lot of that burden off of their hands. So it's great for companies that have the ability to get at the technical expertise or have somebody to do it for them. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a fallback position. And really, that's why we built it into the operating system, so that you're not forcing somebody to have to be technical just to protect their PC and their data.
User Apothecary says, it's almost less expensive to buy a new workstation with Windows 7 installed than it is to buy a new retail copy of Windows 7. The only problem is moving everything to the new box and making it work isn't a lot of fun for non-techie managers. Ironically, Microsoft will offer lots of support to enterprise-level customers to make the move, but ignores the biggest chunk of users entirely, small businesses. Until Microsoft develops a better plan for helping SMBs make the switch, they just won't.
I've heard that in the past, and I think that applies to a whole bunch of things, and especially as it relates to small businesses, that they're trying to be really efficient with the money that they have to spend. I think it's also important to keep in mind that you do have to keep on managing change in a planful way, and you can't kind of ignore some important realities of looking after your business or upgrading technology. And I'd say that probably a good example is you could not repair your car, and you could just drive it until eventually something breaks. And you can absolutely do that, and it's a low-cost way of maintaining it up until the point that it breaks. And then you don't have control over the timing, you don't have control over the cost, and it becomes out of your hands. And I think the thing to keep in mind is, so while you do have the ability to not just don't worry about it until it breaks, you really lose control, and it's not an effective way to run a business. It's not an effective way to run the technology that your business is reliant upon. And so I think good advice for any business, good advice for any business owner is to make sure that you're thinking about the role that the technology has to support your business, and that you're giving it the attention that it deserves and needs. XP's been around for a long time. There's been a long run up, and there's been a lot of notice provided that it's getting older, and there's other technologies, and that supporting it is just going to get more and more expensive. So what I would encourage people to do is really look at the role that XP plays, how they need it, and also keep in mind that for a lot of companies to facilitate business success into the future, they're going to have to open up new capabilities, use technology in new and different ways, and XP just isn't equipped or designed to keep up with where technology is going, with the mobility experience, with the new devices and tablet experience. So eventually they will need to move off just to keep up with their business. And so I think you can do it now in a planful way, or you can wait and then maybe be forced to make some investments or recover from security problems or virus problems that you didn't see coming and didn't plan for, at which point you could be in a much more difficult position to deal with at that point than if you were proactive and addressed what the change looks like and how to do it in a coordinated way at this point, while you still have some time and to deal with it.
Thanks again, Steve, for taking the time. Those were really great answers.
My pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to comment and respond back to your readers.
And thanks again to our readers for making those comments on our articles. We really thought that they were thoughtful and raised some good points, and that's why we had Steve come in to address them. And if you have more comments or questions about Windows XP and migration, please make them at the bottom of this article. For itbusiness.ca, I'm Brian Jackson.